Welcome back to Blackthornprod. I'm Noah, an indie game developer and YouTuber sharing my game creation journey with these videos. And in this one, we'll continue our adventure as I show you the progress I've made on Dashing Fire. That's right, that's the name I finally settled on for my fast-paced universe filled with tiny planets, fire boys, and dark, squishy creatures. In case you haven't watched the previous devlog videos in this series, my creation was called Rising Sun. Turns out the title was already pretty taken up and it didn't feel right anyway. So after much thought and some help from the community, I'm naming it Dashing Fire. It's simple and describes the game in 2 words, since at its core this is an adventure where you control a small character made up of fire who can dash between small worlds. Dashing also means adventurous, handsome, and full of confidence that perfectly describes me and the hero of this game. So I made a cool new title scene with some neat effects to get the player in the right mood before he begins his challenging journey. I also took the time to change all the artwork on my Steam page to match up with this new name, and the mini placeholder trailer also shows Dashing Fire instead of Rising Sun. And since we're here, consider wishlisting the game so that when it does release you'll get notified. But mainly it's super encouraging for me to see there's actually interested players who want to delve in this world I'm creating. So since the last devlog, lots of cool little things have been improved and added to the game. First of all, I polished and brought to life the sun, which the player tries to reach in every level. Before, completing a level looked like this, and now we have this. I think this makes for a much more epic and satisfying conclusion to a piece of the adventure. I also made a simple pause menu where the player can return to the shortcuts menu if he likes, and later I'll probably add some options settings here as well. On a much more entertaining note, I've been working hard on the merchant worlds and the various powers the player can purchase to upgrade his character. Here's what is new. We have this merchant who sells a power that will slow down the whole game a bit. So enemies, projectiles, traps will be a little slower, giving the player more time to react and plan his next move. The very easy way I did this was set time.timescale to 0.65. So normally the game plays with a timescale equal to 1, and the closer you get to 0, the slower everything will be. Next up we have this merchant who will grant the player the ability to passively shoot fireballs in 4 directions that destroy enemies. This cool discount merchant will decrease the price of everything in the world by 20%. So you're spending some stars up front, but if you survive long enough, it will be a worthwhile investment. This bugger lets the player summon a protection power when he gets hit by an enemy, which basically destroys all nearby dangers. And then we have another merchant who will get the player healing of 1 heart at the start of every single level. Finally, this broken star dude who sprinkles the player with cash every time he takes damage. And then of course there's all the other merchants I created in the past, making for a total of 16. That's a lot and certainly gives the player a ton of fun options to increase his character's power. Oh, and this cute sun also lets you re-roll your merchant's drop. So if you don't like the power he offers you, you can search for a new one. Of course, all these powers must be tested and balanced, which should be great fun, though it will of course require the help of some playtesting by other cool people than myself. I'm also taking a small holiday break next again week, which will help see my work with fresh eyes. With that said, merchant worlds no longer appear after every single level, but only once you defeat a boss. I found this to be a lot better, and the player has more stars whenever he reaches these points in the game, so he has more choices to make on what exactly to spend his hard-earned currency on. Having the merchants appear after every level also felt a little tedious and broke up the game flow. Instead, we have quick transition scenes which offer the player 4 choices. He can heal of 1 heart, earn 50 stars, or upgrade hearts or stars. In other words, once he chooses this option twice, this choice will no longer grant only 1 heart, but 2, and this will multiply the amount of stars earned through this option by 1.5, and these can be upgraded as many times as the player wants. This makes for some fun choices between short-term gain and slower but more fruitful earnings in the long run. I'm telling you guys, the game is starting to really come together and it's fun to play. I just enjoy playing my game, and that's wonderful. Next up, let me introduce you to a new boss encounter I created, the Twins of Darkness. These strange fat dragons are a powerful duo that shoots projectiles at the player while simultaneously bombarding them with blue and black flying minions. Quick reminder that the player can only defeat blue enemies when he's in his white state, contrary to the normal creatures which are destroyed when he's orange and fiery. Of course, if you're a little confused about how Dashing Fire plays, I urge you to check out the first video in this devlog series. Anyway, Twins of Darkness has been brought to life, though I'm a little unsure where to put him. At first this was supposed to be the final boss encounter, however it didn't feel epic enough. The issue is that these dragons feature the blue creatures, which is a mechanic only featured in the 4th and final area, Tenebrous Sky, so I can't turn this into an Area 3 boss. So I'll probably just turn them into an optional secret fight found somewhere else in the world. Now, the final boss has been created, and I love sharing my progress and what I've made in these devlogs, but I guess certain things should be left out so you experience things firsthand when you actually play the game. So unfortunately, I won't show it here, but I will say it's challenging and extremely epic, though still a work in progress, and I can't wait for you to go on this adventure. For the upcoming week, I plan to get the game ready for some first playtesters, which means fix bugs, try and balance things out myself the best I can, definitely reduce difficulty at certain parts, and write down some explanations for each merchant in the game, because these symbols might not make any sense for players. Although there is magic and fun to be found in just discovering what things do rather than just being told. What do you guys think about that? And lastly, create a new boss character for Area 1, 2 and 3. Again, for that fun randomness and variety. Okay, thank you all for watching this devlog video. Thank you also to my patrons who support me financially and by doing so help me create these videos and games and improve as a developer. Okay, cheers everyone.